Alright. Hello, everybody. Generic Pie here with another video for you. It's been a little while. I've been, haven't been playing much Lord of the Ring recently. Been, on holiday, doing life things. But I jumped on tonight, played a game, and I thought it was interesting enough to warrant sharing. And part of the reason I want to share this one in particular is I want you to help me. I want to get better as the free people. And they're dastardly, mysterious people. Those three people. They're hard. It's hard to know where you're going wrong. Did I make some glaring errors this game? Was I unlucky this game? Or maybe I won. Maybe I was lucky. I don't know. Let's not give it away. I'd be curious for anyone out there, just to give your thoughts. I feel like I can never get above about 520, 530, 540 as the free people. It's so easy to lose on a coin toss, and then when the games are marginal, which they so often are, what are those little marginal decisions that you're getting wrong? So please, if you share your thoughts, write some comments, let me know your thoughts on this game, and I would much appreciate it. So this was against Jan, who I played a long time ago on the server before as a friend. I think it was a friendly game, which I won, but we played again tonight, and he was playing as a shadow, obviously, and I was playing as a free people. So he started off with Stormcrone, on they went, and I started off with Tom Bombadil and Ents, and the Ents card, and these are the rolls. So he had a pretty sweet roll, pretty sweet starting roll, and I got a well-rounded, solid roll myself. I passed. He moves down Isengard. I pass again, standard move. I place on Bombadil so I can cycle cards. I draw into Kindred of Lorfindel. Again, we get some standard moves. He looks to be going towards Gondor. And maybe this is because of Bombadil. Maybe he likes going for Gondor. But anyway, with that move, I'm pretty certain he's going for Gondor. I move the Fellowship. They are safe. Sauron goes to war. Move the Fellowship again. They're safe again. Draws a card. Many Kings to Service of Mordor. Do the standards. Forest Road. Western Met moves. Sauron comes in, and we move on to turn 2. So yeah, very standard stuff. Draw into Smeagol Helps Nice Master and the Red Arrow. And Hill Trolls and the Nazgul Strike. So one eye in the box. Another. This is kind of like a perfect roll turn 2 when you want to be able to get, well, maybe one. Yeah, no, it's pretty much ideal because you want to ideally get the Southrons to war. Might be able to get the Witch King potentially, and I get another okay roll. Not perfect, not awful. It's fine. Southrons go down. Fellowship moves again. They are safe, so it's great stuff for the Fellowship so far. Marching outwards. So here there's the consideration. Is it worth trying to get the Gondor to war to try and get an extra guy in? I think it's not worth it given my dice. And the fact that I have scouts, it's probably be 1 HP difference for a lot of dice usage, so I decide to just let them attack me. I think maybe if I'm lucky, I can draw into, for example, Faramir's Rangers, so I have a shot at that. Draw into No Quarter and Sudden Strike, so not the cards I needed, but they're okay cards. Jan consolidates armies in Gondor. Okay, so here I decide to use a ring to try and have a chance of getting Gandalf this turn. The way I see it is, if I don't get hit, then I can move again with the will, and that's 5 movements in 2 turns, which is pretty damn great. And I'll probably at least be able to kill Gandalf on the 3rd movement if I don't kill him on the 2nd movement. So it's kind of win-win. Either I almost definitely kill Gandalf this turn, or I kill Gandalf and I get his extra dice in by getting Gandalf to white. So I move, I get hit, and I get an eye. So I kill Gandhi for a 1. I decide to risk. I don't want to risk him not dying by taking the second tile, so I just decide to kill him because otherwise I've used a ring to not even get him in play. So I think it's not worth the risk. Then he only draws a 1 anyway, so it's no different. So that worked out fine. I eat the 1 corruption, and Strider becomes the guide. Southrons go down, and I bring in Gandalf the White. So I think that's a legit play. I think that worked out well. Let me know your thoughts. I think that's fine. He attacks Osgiliath. I use scouts, get my dudes in to Minas Tirith, which is nice, and Waster a great host, which is also nice. Gondor goes down to war, and then what happens next? Minas Tirith is attacked, and then with the final trick, yeah, able to get the Witch King. So that's what I meant about having that perfect combination of dice. So the 2 musters to get the Southrons and Eastlings to war, and then the 3rd one to bring in the Witch King. So that's a really nice dice for the Shadow. Anyway, so I draw into Imrahil, which is, I mean, it's handy when the Shadow has already got Gondor to war early. Imrahil's not as useful as it would be otherwise, but getting an elite and a leader at once is really nice. And I'll go alone. Shadow draws into Lord of the Ring and Orcs multiplying again. Fellowship's okay. So, Jan rolls this. And I roll this. So getting a solid amount of movement here, I'm quite happy with that roll. Also, the musters are handy, so I can buff up Gondor, buff up Dol Amroth. I'm a little bit concerned now about Day Without Dawn, so I hide straight away using the Will. He puts some sneaky little goblins on me, which is not pleasant. And I move straight away. I'm not sure if I needed to rush that, but I thought maybe he'll also get like a Nazgul on me. Maybe he might even play a sneaky card, like he does. He does have the Nazgul Strike, which he could play. Actually, well, yeah, he could. Well, he can't play yet, but anyway. So I get missed. Thankfully, he attacks Pelegir. No card. No card. And when I see him do this, I start to think, do you have Corsairs? Because, or are you hoping to get Corsairs? Because, is it worth taking that when you could just move this army through here anyway? So I'm a bit worried about Corsairs. He doesn't actually have Corsairs, but I was thinking, do you do that move if you don't have Corsairs? Anyway, he gets up some dudes in Orthanc, Isengard. I move the fellowship again, and I missed again. So I say to him unlucky, because I think, yeah, I mean, it's going pretty sweet. I think it's fast on both sides. It's a straight sprint game. I think we're both doing pretty luckily so far. His dice, my hunt rolls, and he attacks Minas Tirith and plays a card. What do I play here? So probably played no quarter. Yes, I do. 2 hits, 3 hits. So that's not nice. Not what I am hoping to see. I do get 2 hits back, so we get 3 hits each. So quite a brutal combat, but much better for the Shadow. He's got forces in reserve. Getting those 3 6s is really massive. Draws into a card. Isildur's Bane. Okay. And then plays Onslaught. I play Sudden Strike, and I do hit with the Sudden Strike, which is quite rare, I find, when you just have one guy. So I'm happy with that. And then he gets another hit, and then I roll 3 6s, so that's really lucky. So I managed to make this an actual, not a straight fight now. Now it's 3 versus 2. He has the Onslaught. Does he risk using the Onslaught when it could lead to the death of the Witch King? So Jan decides to use 1. So I think I'm probably not going to risk sortying, try and kill the Witch King in a 2v2, especially without any particular cards and only one reroll. I don't think I would have done it. If it obviously used 2 onslaughts and not killed me, then I would have definitely done it. Anyway, so he gets the hit he needs, and now obviously the sortying is off the table. But yeah, slightly risky on his part. Anyway, so I decide to get one guy in Dol Amroth. He moves Fellers in from Osgiliath, takes Losanak, and I decide here, just to consolidate my forces, I would normally move the Western Met army to Fords Weizen, but I decide to move it straight into Helm's Deep because this army is almost definitely going to be alive, and they could march around and kind of pincer me if I don't have the dice to move in myself. So rather than doing the usual Fords Weizen move, I'd go straight in, and it also means I can get the dwarf in, because the dwarves are always vulnerable to, you know, when the South runs at war, in like 3 dice, suddenly they've got a massive army and they've just charged in, and it comes out of nowhere sometimes. So I think it's always nice just to get this guy in when you get the chance. Don't get complacent. Anyway, so he uses his ring to attack. I just don't bother using a card. I know it's going to fall. He has Great Host. It's a formality. So yeah, I take 1 with me. But yeah, so Minas Tirith has fallen. Did some damage back, probably about par. I think I had 1 lucky roll, and then he had some lucky dice as well. But yeah, I think that's about right. Okay, draw into Elven Cloaks, and so yeah, Cruel Weather, love to see it. So pretty decent cards here. You've got some nice attacking cards. Isildur's Bane, Monstrous Rouds, always Desperate Battles, always handy. Hill Trolls, got the Weekend to kill. Okay, so decent cards, not exceptional cards. Oh my god. Fuck you, game. You just gave him Corsairs of Umber and Cruel Weather in the same hand on turn 4. Okay, so if there was ever a turning point in this game, that was probably it. Yeah, I don't like to see that at all. Anyway, so I draw into an equally good pairing of cards. Through a Day and a Night, and Elven Cloaks. Yes, live in the dream, baby. Anyway, so I declare. Roll. Okay, so he rolls 2 more eyes. I get another decent roll. I think it's good to have some musters here because I am wary of Corsairs. I know I want to at least have a dice so I can play Imrahil if I need to, and hopefully buff this up even more. And at this point, so you'll see what I do here. This is a turn where maybe I still think it was a kind of an interesting move, and I just think I don't know. Let me see what you think. So anyway, so I move. I am missed. Lucky. He puts a schmuck on me. And also so when I see that, I'm like, okay, obviously he's got Corsairs now. Okay, I am in trouble. But I'm thinking I can defend this. Looking at the size of this army, I'm thinking I don't think Imrahil alone and 1 more muster is going to be enough. My fellowship is really stacked, and when you get into Mordor with a super stacked fellowship, it's slow, especially if Aragorn dies and you only hit like one. You actually sometimes want to hit more corruption damage so you can just kill off some dudes. So it's always nice when you get around this stage of the game, if you have the luxury, it's nice to empty some guys from the fellowship and get them into relevant strongholds and try and defend them. So I noticed that, hey, I will go alone. If I move 1 more time, I can get to Osgiliath. I can then I will go alone, get some Riders of the West, whatever they're called. Like these guys, Boromir, Legolas, or Gimli. Get a couple of those guys in there. And I can thin out the Fellowship to get to Gollum quicker. I can make Dol Amroth really hard to take. And all I have to do, and it's not a small thing, I have to use a ring to do it. The alternative is just buff it up. So instead I could do 2 more musters. I could get like a leader and an elite, and then get another elite and a leader when I or I could just go hardcore on elite. I could have just gone really hardcore on elite. So I could have got 2 more elites and then got a third elite and just gone really hard on HP. So maybe, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe that's the play. But so here's what I do. I move because I need to be able to play the I will go alone thing. I need to be 1 step closer because otherwise they can't get there. So I have to move that extra time, otherwise it's not doable. Okay, so he hits me twice. OR, so I was hoping to not get revealed here. That would have been really nice. I knew I was going to get hit. I was hoping to not get revealed. But anyway, so I have to go to Osgiliath, which is slightly annoying. Because I know that he's going to put a guy on me next turn, or maybe later this turn. But I think it's worth the trade-off. So he starts moving his guy. He starts mustering up some Oliphants. Okay, so yeah, this is... Okay, then I go for an elite just to start off, because I'm not sure if he... I know he's got Corsairs, but I just want to see what he does. So yeah, so I think maybe the fact that he got so many musters actually really hurt me. Anyway, so he's got a really big army now. But now I have my guys. So I've got... once I get my Imrahil of Dal Amroth in there, I have an 8-strong army with 3 leadership against a 14-strong army. So 8 versus 14, 3 leadership. I think you favor the free people in that fight. The problem is, I don't really have the right combat cards. And maybe that should have been in my mind. Maybe when you do this kind of thing, you're thinking, okay, if I do this, it's justifiable because I've got a daylight. Or maybe you just go, hey, I've got a bunch of leadership, I should survive this anyway. I've got confusion, that's all right. Let's see what happens. Maybe I'll draw into some good cards. Anyway, he attacks Dol Amroth, plays a card. I play Confusion. He gets Recome to kill. Confusion doesn't work. And he gets 2 6s, which is more than I would have liked to have seen. But not the worst. And then I get 2 hits back, which is okay. But I get lucky with the Recome to kill. So I think that's probably just come out in my favor overall. 2 hits are a bit unlucky, but yeah, I think you've got to be pleased with that. Draws into a new Power Rising. Power's Rising. Turn 5. End card, Breaking the Fellowship. Fear Fire Foes, and Desperate Battle. Alright, so he kills Isildur's Bane. Interesting. I think I'd always keep that card for either effect. It's such a powerful card. But what's he keeping? He's obviously got to keep Cruel Weather. Wants to keep a Red Tile, wants to keep that. Nazgul Strike could be handy for catching the first. Yeah, so okay. I can get it. I can get it. Probably would have got rid of something else there. Don't know which card may be breaking. Anyway, so I use my W to hide the Fellowship because I'm worried about Day Without Dawn. He puts a guy on me, as I suspected. I move. I am hit to reveal. Yeah, I just eat the corruption. Attacks Dol Amroth. And plays Dread and Despair. Okay, so Dread and Despair. It's better for them to not get hit. And in his situation, maybe that's why he didn't play Cruelest Death, because in Yan's situation, it's going to be really hard to reinforce this army now. So his priority is survival. So Dread and Despair is great for surviving. And Shield Wall is probably not the card I really want to use against it, because he's not going to be rolling as many dice. So he sacks 4. He gets his 1 hit. So again, the Shield was not useful. I get my hit, which is okay. He stops. He's patient, which is smart, and draws into another Dread and Despair. So he's giving up some. Well, you'll see. He plays. Sorry, I flip the Fellowship. He attacks again, and we get another Dread and Despair. So it's quite useful cards. I mean, if he were to play something like a Deadly Strife here, it might just destroy me. But if I had the right cards, it could backfire and you know, lose him the game. Whereas Dread and Despair is slowly eating away at me, making it really hard for me to hit back with all my leadership. So it's and he gets the 2/6s again, so that's quite nasty. Yeah, so I don't get any hits that time. So yes, it's working. The Dread and Despair play is working really nicely. So fair play to Jan for going down that route. Draws into They Are Terrible. I don't have this is the tricky thing here. Yeah, so now my army's getting whittled down. I'm feeling a bit not really stupid, but like I've made a big commitment by using that ring to get those two guys in there, and they're doing nothing. Then 3/6s on the reroll. So quite painful for me. Yeah, so potentially a big turning point in the game to win that battle so easily. I really needed that to last longer, I think. Was it worth the gamble? Let me know what you think. I move. I am not hit. He then plays Cruel Weather. I think this is a slight misplay. I think you have to wait to play the Cruel Weather because I would have had to use a ring. And looking at the odds, the way he's been drawing, he's been playing a lot of character cards. It's enough for me to consider the fact that maybe he's been fishing for Cruel Weather. This was going through my mind. It's like, is he just fishing for Cruel Weather? Is he fishing for Cruel Weather? Maybe he hasn't got it yet, when in fact he was just playing character cards. So I was very happy, ironically enough, happy to see Cruel Weather early, because there's a chance I wouldn't have used the ring and I would have gambled. And I hate doing that. It's lost me games, and I can vow to never do that again. But sometimes it's tempting, and it at least gives the three people a decision to make. But when he did that, there was no decision to make anymore. I just used the ring. All my rings are gone. And I have to move the flagship again. So I decide, I was originally going to take the corruption. I decide I want to get to Gollum quickly. It's only a 1 in 4 chance that I hit Aragorn. So I decide to take a random. And draw Merry. We can't remember where Merry should go. We have a little discussion about this. I can't find the result quickly, so I just think, screw it. Merry's not going to do anything in this game, let's be real. So I just put him in North Athenian because I don't really care. He draws another tile, and it's a 1. So corruption-wise, going into Mordor, got in on turn 5, which is good. So looking pretty fast in Mordor. I'm on net. I think I'm on net -1 corruption, which is solid. Oh no, I've actually got Legolas in there as well, so I am on net -2 corruption. And then he draws into Orc Patrol, puts in a red tile, and moves dudes up to Druiden, as I suspected he would, and starts moving these guys around the edge. So I was kind of thinking, oh god, is there going to be a Shadows Gather or something to get them involved? Anyway, we move on to turn number 5. Shadow draws into Threats and Promises, and Shadow's Lair. I draw into Grimbion, so I get Scouts, which is good for Fords of Eisen. And we're going to turn 6. So I'm in Mordor. Let's see what the pool is like. So we got 1 red tile, lots of 3s, about 50-50 reveals, non-reveals, something like that. So it's pretty mixed pool. Definitely not the nicest pool I've ever seen, but not the worst. So in my hand, I currently have 2 blue tiles. And I hide straight away. He plays Shadow's Lair. Considering he's already played the red tile, I think he's probably not going to have another red tile since he's already got 2 in there. So I think it's safe to play my blue tiles now. Normally, if it's either a choice between moving and putting in a blue tile, if I'm first to go, I prefer just to move, because I've had so many games where you think, oh, I'll try and be clever and put in a tile. They put in a worse tile, you hit their tile straight away, and then it's just, you know, I'd rather have just moved and remove the chance of getting a blue. I think it's a worse trade-off. Anyway, so I put in my blue tile. He plays New Paz Rising. So again, it's like, where's he going to attack this game? I wonder. It's got to be here. Presumably here as well. So not the card I really wanted to see. So not pleased with that. However, I do have 2 Ent cards to defend myself, which is handy. I move, and I get a 3. So I have to kill Aragorn. He's got to go for the sake of efficiency. Legolas is in charge. He moves dudes down in Isengard. And Druiden goes into fold. I pass. The mouth comes in, Dol Guldur. And I have a think. And I'm a bit worried here. What my worry is that with his 2 final dice, he's going to try and put me in a siege with these 5. So if he goes bloop bloop, it gives me a real predicament, because if he gets me in a siege there, I can't get these guys in, and that makes this a very vulnerable fight. If he were to do that, I might be tempted to stand and fight and play an Ent card and just try and just hold off this army. But then I think about the fact that he needs to take Edoras anyway. Is he really going to do a double attack here and ignore Edoras? I think the smart play might be to threaten it and give me a decision to make. I think that would be a very tricky thing, because it would tempt me to use my character dice to move 2 guys in here, because I really need Helm's Deep to hold, or I could lose the game. I think I probably would have just moved the Fellowship anyway. But anyway, maybe I was overthinking this. I decide to get Rohan down to war, so next turn I'm trying to pressure him into attacking here sooner, so that he is worried about me mustering next turn. So what happens then? He moves. Okay, so he's preparing to attack into Lorien. I move the Fellowship again, and I get another 3. So I'm happy because I'm not getting revealed, but I am taking a lot of punishment here. So I kill my final dudes. But the other positive here is I've got down to Gollum super fast. So yeah, not getting eyes and getting 3s is kind of, if I want to rush, if I want to sprint, it's kind of perfect in a way. He moves dudes into Moria to get the army buffed up. And then we move on to turn number 7. So I draw into a Daylight and a Heroic Death. So this is nice. These are cards I like to see. Good for surviving as 3 people. He draws into another, well, Half-Orcs and Godmen and Wormtongue. Bishop okay. So 2 eyes in the hunt. And here, this is kind of annoying. It's not... It's annoying that I didn't get a single muster, because I could have really used the muster to get Helm's Deep buffed up when he inevitably attacks Fords of Isen. So not a single muster, 2 Palantirs. However, it does mean I can get this tile in. It does mean that I get lots of movement, which is great, so I can't complain too much. I move. I get a 2. Nice. Nice. I don't have any rings because of Cruel Weather and because of my Gambit. If I had had that ring earlier, maybe I would have instead been tempted to flip him to eat an extra corruption and go a little bit slower and try and just take my time a bit more to get over the line. Anyway, he takes Edoras. Rohan's now at war, but I can't get anyone in. I play Elven Cloaks because why not? He attacks Fords. I scout away. So 2 scouts have done well for me this game. Good job. He's worried about the Ents, so leaves a force there. Maybe, Maybe this was silly of me, actually. Perhaps I should have played the Ent cards there and just tried to kill. Yeah, I think this is a misplay. I think I wasn't really paying enough attention. I think I was thinking about using the Ent cards to defend myself. However, and maybe it's better to use them to defend yourself, but I'm massive odds on to take away one of his dice and to take away his elites. So yeah, maybe that wasn't so smart. Anyway, I move. I get a 1, so great. Really good position here. However, frustratingly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So, looking at the hunt pool, I currently have a 50% chance of not of being stopped or losing. 33% chance of losing, 50% chance of not winning, and 50% chance of winning. He then plays Alt Patrol and draws another 2. And at this point, I think I have to flip the Fellowship because I can't. I'm thinking I don't want to risk trying to win on such dodgy odds. All I need is for him to not roll a ton of eyes next turn, and I should have a very good chance of winning the game. So I decide to flip the Fellowship and use this die to flip them back, and then I'll try and win it next turn. I know that with 3 dice he can't get both of these under siege and take them both. I figure maybe he's got Grond or something, but even so, I don't see how this army can also take this with me with 2 Ent cards. So I think I'm probably okay. I hide. So here, yeah, I think knowing what this is an error I didn't realize at the time. I should have just played the Ent cards to try and take away his dice. That would have been, yeah, an obvious play. So he moves down this army. It's quite a big army, even if these didn't have leadership. I draw a card, hoping to draw into something like There Is Another Way or Bilbo's Song, and he attacks Armor Sleep. So yeah, I don't know, given the fact that he can also just fly in an absolute metric ton of Nazgul at any given moment, is it worth using the Ent cards when I could use them to try and survive? I don't know, let me know your thoughts. Was that a misplay? Alright. So, oh yeah, and he's got tons of reserves as well. Anyway. So, here we go. Going into turn 7. I just need to roll 1 movement. He draws into Balrog, and the king is revealed. I draw into Wizard Staff and a power 2 great. Interesting. And he rolls 3 eyes. 3 eyes. So, what's that? Like 4 out of 10, or 3 out of 9 dice eyes. 1 fewer, and I would have had a, what would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'd have had a 9 in 11 chance of winning the game instantly if he didn't roll 3 bloody eyes. So now suddenly, yeah, so I start lamenting this fact in the chat. So it's like, all right, let's try and survive, boys. Let's try and get through this turn, and we'll go again next turn. Or maybe I can draw in some cards. And I say that's unfortunate, but it does make a more so now we start chatting about all of this. So I draw a character card. I draw into Weeper of the Swifter. He attacks Helm's Deep. I play Huon Dark. I think I probably played these the wrong way round. I think I probably should have played the one that that does more damage first. I think I overthought this a little bit. So instead I limited how many dice he could roll, which did work. He only got 2 hits. He got no hits, which is good. But I only got 1 hit back, and I needed to hurt him. I needed to really hurt him as much as possible this turn to get his army diminished and weakened. Anyways, he draws into another Dread and Despair, Bane of My Existence, that bloody card. Yeah, just in time to hit into my Ent's Rage. So that was perfect timing for him. What else did he have? He had a Devilry of Orthanc, but he had nothing else that could have actually stopped me from rolling. So the one card I had in my entire deck to do damage, and it gets completely neutered. So that really is painful. So I only get one hit on what could have been, you know, rolling on 3s. I could have got like yeah, I'm odds on to get 4 hits there probably, at least 3. And then he gets 2 hits. So he gets more hits than me when I use Ent's Rage. So that's painful. Maybe that's a lesson to not, you shouldn't wait around with those types of cards. I do still have a Daylight up my sleeve, but he has Devouring Vortex, still gets 2 hits even with 3 dice. I get 1 hit back. But anyway, so it's looking pretty bad for the last stand of Helm's Deep. Relents Assault and finishes the job. Yeah, so frustrating. Just to make life annoying, I decide to play Power 2 Great, and frustratingly, he still has 1 army card. I was hoping that by the end of that battle, like if that had lasted maybe 1 round longer or something like that, maybe he would have to have played another army card, and he wouldn't have been able to attack here, or would have to use a ring to have just a gamble on drawing another army card. So nonetheless, it means he has to give up 2 cards, which is handy.
A wizard is
and just to add
is
salt into the wounds, Gandhi shows up. Yeah, he arrives precisely when he means to. Go into siege, and so now it's, oh, the Gandhi man can. He does it with a smile and never judges you. So they attack Lorien. So, and lo and behold, Gandhi shines, but then bloody Durin's Bane. Again, the perfect card for this situation. Gets 2 hits, which is above average. So now I'm only got 3 HP. I have, because of the way that I've managed my pool, I have to downgrade in this way. I do get 2 hits, which is lucky. But no, I only get 1 hit because I accidentally rolled an extra. I rolled for Gandhi, who obviously isn't actually a leader anymore. He presses, no card. I play Heroic Death. He does 1 hit. Wait a minute. I didn't roll. What? Did I just forget to roll the bloody dice? Oh, that's annoying. Okay, well, I forgot to roll my 2 dice. Probably wouldn't have made a difference in this game anyway, because it's only 2 guys, and yeah, I don't think that was going to make a difference. He attacks Lorien, no card, no card. I shine, and he misses, and I get 1 hit. So now we have a predicament. We have a predicament. So, do I move with less than 50% chance of winning of the debate? I've got like body like a 40-something% chance of winning the game. Or do I try and survive? And in doing so, he has a 33% chance of rolling 2 6s in 7 dice, more or less, from what I calculated. So, do I take the passive approach and just let him attack me, and then just like the hobbits just don't even try and put the ring in? It feels pathetic. But statistically, that was probably the smart thing to do. So I think about this for a good few minutes, and I'm just like, it feels nice to make the active choice, to have your own destiny in your hands, and not just be like, oh, I'll just let him attack me. Because if he just rolls 2 6s, I just feel horrible. So I think about it, and I just decide to go for the big play, and I go, let's do it, let's move. I decide to try and dunk, and it's a bloop. Oh wait, an eye. So very painfully, GG on 12 corruption. So exactly the corruption required. And we decide to to roll to see what would have happened. So Jan rolls. We both don't have any cards to play. Jan gets 1 hit. So is he going to get hit in the reroll? No, it's a deluge of 2s. So I feel kind of gutted then. But then I think, hey, then he reminds me that next turn, because I hadn't moved this turn, I would have gone up a corruption anyway. So if it rolled 3 eyes, it would have been the same situation again. So it was less likely than I thought it would be that I'd win the following turn. So I say, okay, so in that case, let's do the dice rolls to see what would have happened. So we do the dice rolls, and I get 1 movement, thank God, but then Jan rolls 3 eyes anyway. So if the same thing had happened, I would have been on, I think, 9 corruption, and then I would have just used the dagger to move, and then I would have hit the eye presumably anyway. So I feel a little bit better about it. I feel like it is what it is. So let me know, where did I go wrong this game? I think the big potential, in my mind, the 2 debatable, the big decisions were using the ring to try and get the 2 characters into Dol Amroth. On the one hand, that got me to Smeagol super fast. So one could say it was an efficient play, and it was unlucky that I drew up against 2 Dread and Despairs in a row in Dol Amroth. However, you could say you need to use the ring. You could have filled up Dol Amroth with a bunch of mustard dice anyway. You could have saved that ring for doing something later in Mordor. You were going fast anyway. You didn't need to do that. Blah, 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 blah. So that was a big decision. The other one was perhaps using the Ent cards more efficiently, because the Ent cards, again, I was a bit unlucky hitting up against Dread and Despair. The MVP of this game, Dread and Despair, very well played in that, using those cards, Jan. You absolutely, I mean, it's how I came out on top in my most epic game of all time, so I know the other side of that card. But yeah, so what do you think? Was it unlucky? I mean, any game where the Shadow gets Cruel Weather and Corsairs on the same hand, same draw, is always going to make it hard for the free people. But what do you think? What do you think? Where did I go wrong? What would you have done in this game? Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. I love you. Bye.